The Southeastern Conference opens the 2008 gymnastics season as the home of the last 3 NCAA team titles. With some of the top coaches and athletes in the country returning, the SEC opens the season with 4 teams ranked in the top 10, and they're poised to once again showcase their dominance in the national scene. We welcome you to Lexington, Kentucky and Memorial Coliseum, where a crowd of better than 5,000 have gathered to watch the Kentucky Wildcats open up the 2008 gymnastics season. High hopes that this will be the first year that they'll go to the NCAA championship. And tonight, they'll take on the Auburn Tigers here as it's Excite Night for the 24th time, and a great crowd gathering to see some great SEC gymnastics. This is what we talked about earlier. Georgia, Florida, first and second in the country. All 7 teams in the Southeastern Conference are ranked in the top 25, with Kentucky rounding out the conference. They're ranked 24th. Bernie Gunther with you here inside Memorial Coliseum in Lexington, Kentucky, where Mo Mitchell, he's in his 5th season as the head coach, and they're looking for bigger and better things. And with more on that, my partner, Lori Strong-Ballard.
So it's a brand new season, and that means big dreams and high expectations for both Auburn and Kentucky. Auburn hopes to put the injury-ridden season of last year behind them, where head coach Jeff Thompson said they limped to the finish line. And Kentucky, 1 year later, has a little more experience and much stronger leadership. They will need to eliminate some of the inconsistencies a young team brought them last year. So it's a fresh start, and for both Auburn and Kentucky, somewhat of a new look.
This team is a whole new look. I'm so excited. One of my co-captains, a couple of days ago, we were in practice, and she said, there's a sense of calm about this team. There's a sense of confidence, a sense of calm. And I'm looking around, and we're good. We're good, you know. And I said, yeah, we are good, you know. And that's what we want to show. We want to go out on the competition floor and show that we're good.
Unfortunately, last Saturday, one of our seniors, Carmen Pinckney, she landed poorly, and she actually injured her knee, and she'll be out for the entire season. So when the team got that news on Sunday, you know, it was like, oh, here we go again, you know, just doom and gloom, and everybody was crying. And we had a day off on Monday for them to kind of get over it. And when they came in on Tuesday, I mean, their resolve was, we're going to do this, we're going to do it for her, and we're going to have a great season. And, you know, the practices we had the rest of the week, they were phenomenal.
So it's Excite Night here at Memorial Coliseum, a spectacular event that always brings in the big crowds and a great atmosphere, something that both Auburn and Kentucky will be feeding off of. And leading the way for the Wildcats is junior co-captain Heather Height. She is a great athlete and someone who always competes and trains with such passion. Heather's had to overcome several knee surgeries in order to be ready for her team and this competition tonight. And for the 4th year straight, the Auburn Tigers will rely on their senior standout athlete, Julie Dwyer. Julie is the only SEC gymnast who has won SEC Freshman of the Year, Athlete of the Year, and then Scholar Athlete of the Year. In her 4th and final season, Julie has upgraded her routines and hopes to lead the Auburn Tigers to some great things this season.
Last year it was really about pride, going out there and competing, even though half of our team wasn't able to be on the floor with us. And this year we're healthy right now, and hopefully it stays that way.
We definitely have high hopes for this team. We're definitely going somewhere. We want to make it to nationals, and of course that's everyone's goal, but I really think we have the team to go. And our freshmen coming in are great, and our sophomores have really stepped up this year. So we have a young team, but a good one.
Posted on their locker room door, the road to nationals for Kentucky starts tonight. SEC play starts tonight as it's the Tigers and the Wildcats next. Back here at Memorial Coliseum in Lexington, Kentucky, high security here for Excite Night. This Kentucky Wildcat team finished 6th in the nation nationally in average attendance, and Laura, I know you enjoyed these guys who are getting the crowd pumped up beforehand.
I love these guys. Excellent choreography, nice warm-up for some great gymnastics to come.
Of course, it's a big night for both teams, and we chatted with both head coaches about Excite Night.
We want our freshmen coming in who are competing for the first time, and our returners to show the crowd what we've been training for all fall.
We talked to Mo about swapping our dates so we could get here for Excite Night. We felt like it was very important for our team to start the season at a big-time meet with a big crowd, because next week we'll be at home. It's the breast cancer awareness meet with Alabama, our arch rival. There will be 6,000 or 7,000 people at home, and we want to make sure we get the jitters and the bugs out this week before we go home in front of our home crowd.
Well, in terms of SEC competition, every meet is important, and not to mention highly competitive.
Well, of course, they've been training for about 5 months getting set for this, and this is a look at Auburn's lineup on the bar, and this is an event they want to improve upon.
Well, in the past, it has been one of their weaker events, but this year they say it is the event with their best depth, and Coach Jeff Thompson told me it's crucial that they get off to a great start here.
Here's a look at Lindsey Puckett, the junior from Lilburn, Georgia, in the first rotation for the Auburn Tigers on the bars.
Now, Auburn has already suffered 1 fall on this event, but with this format, 6 compete, 5 scores count, they can drop that score. So it's important that Lindsey gets a top score for them here.
She scored a 9.85 twice in her career on this event.
Pretty short on her final handstand, preparing for the dismount here. Gaining momentum. It's a double layout, nice job, pretty strong on the landing. A good routine for Lindsey.
Following in her sister's footsteps, Courtney Puckett was an All-American in this event.
Now, Lindsey doesn't have any big release element in this routine. She does a combination of twisting elements at the start of the routine, but she ends with this difficult dismount. It's a double layout. She's pretty clean in the air and good and solid on the landing.
Finishes with a score of 9.775. On the other side, this is the Kentucky Wildcats, the 24th ranked team in the country, and this is their vault lineup.
The 3 athletes in the middle, Reimer, Green, and Ferguson, were a part of that talented but inexperienced freshman class from last year. With 1 year under their belt, they will be a force, and Coach Mo Mitchell says they are the strength of this team.
Reimer will be up first, sophomore, and she has not trained at all this week.
You're right, she pulled a muscle on her rib and pretty much has only put in 1 day of practice, a light practice on Friday. Does a nice job here with her Yurchenko layout full. But you can see on her landing, her legs are a little bit weak. They buckle slightly. There'll be a slight deduction there. Knees buckle there. It's tough to come in here at this level of competition without training.
9.675 Reimer score, and you know, it may look a little foggy inside here, but the fog machines were out during the introductions, and things haven't quite cleared as AJ Mills gets set to go on the bars.
She has a very important combination at the start of the routine, starting with the uprise into a giant half. Here's her major release element there. The second fall for this Auburn team, certainly not the way that they had hoped to start this competition. Now, this is a very difficult release element. It's called a pike Jaeger. The timing of the release, the height, and the distance are very important, and she was simply too far to re-grasp.
Well, 5/10 is the deduction. Of course, Mills has to finish her routine, and what's the mindset here?
Well, it's a difficult thing to continue with your routine, but it's something that every gymnast has to go through. Sometimes the most difficult thing is getting that timing and the rhythm back. AJ is recovering from being sick, and she broke her hand before the SEC championships last year, so you can imagine this event is probably one of the toughest events to come back on after breaking your hand.
With the fall, her score 8.950, the second fall for Auburn in the bars, and when we come back, it's their star, Julie Dwyer, after this. Some future SEC gymnasts enjoying the action here at Memorial Coliseum, so we continue in rotation number 1. It's Emily Green, who is just a stud for the Wildcats as a freshman, on the vault next.
Vaulting the Yurchenko layout full. Wow, that's one of the best vaults I've seen from a Kentucky gymnast in years. This is one of those dream vaults that every gymnast hopes that they can compete under pressure like this, and you can feel it on the block. As soon as those hands hit the vaulting table right there, it feels secure. You get a quick, solid block out of your shoulders, and that gives you the height, and the rest is smooth sailing.
And a career best 9.9. Up next on the bars, Julie Dwyer, the only SEC gymnast to be named Freshman of the Year, Gymnast of the Year, and Scholar Athlete of the Year, but she has high hopes for her senior campaign.
To make it to nationals at the end, that's one thing that I wanted when I came to Auburn as my freshman year, was to make nationals as a team, and we still haven't made it, so this year's the year.
They had a chance last year, but injuries hurt them hard. The talent is there on this Auburn team, and if they can stay healthy, that national dream can come true.
Well, Lori, she has a little bit of pressure here on the bars as the team has already fallen twice so far.
Big combination here, giant full to Kacha. She catches her foot slightly on the bar. You can see that reduced her swing into the straddle back, so she'll get a 10th deduction for clipping her foot, plus a deduction for losing momentum in her swing and a low straddle back. Dismount double layout, sticks the landing. Pretty good job, not quite her best, but she comes through in the crunch. She has a major release element in this routine and a high difficulty in this dismount. The double layout, we're seeing more and more athletes compete this dismount. Julie does a great job of tapping her toes up, and that gains her beautiful height with a great stretch position and a good landing.
A score of 9.625 for the senior Julie Dwyer. And Auburn scores through their first rotation, not where they wanted to be, and they really struggled in the 3 and 5 part of the rotation.
That's over a point lower than what they're capable of. Coach Jeff Thompson says that when they're at their best, they can go 49 plus on bars.
Hillary Ferguson up last for the Wildcats, who are looking to open up with a strong showing here on the vault.
Pacheco half front layout. Small hop forward on the landing. You can see her really struggling to try to hold on to that landing. Every 10th counts. Vaults like this with the half twist are very difficult to land because it's almost a blind landing. Vaults with a full twist, you actually see the mat before you land, but you can see the mat is behind her there. She has to go by instinct and great technique in order to get that stuck landing.
A score of 9.775, and the Kentucky Wildcats are very strong on the vault at 48.725 as they're in the lead through the first rotation.
And of course, the highlight there was Emily Green's career high 9.9. Anytime you're getting close to a 49, that's a strong effort.
One rotation in the books, and it's the Kentucky Wildcats with a big lead over the Auburn Tigers. They'll switch apparatus when we get back to Lexington. Back in Lexington, we continue Auburn, Kentucky, and SEC Gymnastics, and it'll be Kentucky on the bars, and they had some big shoes to fill, Lori.
Kentucky graduated Crystal Cook last year, who was their best on this event. She scored over 9.9 4 times last year, so that will be a difficult void to fill.
And here's one of the freshmen who will try to fill that void, and Colleen Williams, and she got a little extra practice on the bar.
Well, this is her first attempt we're seeing here, and you can see the judges are having a little bit of a discussion here. The PA announcer called her name, but the judges were not ready. They had not signaled the athlete yet. She began a routine, and they missed judging the first half of the routine. She will get a second attempt, but she gets a mandatory 0.5 deduction taken from the score.
Just a little bit of a freshman mistake, so to see.
Absolutely. Something that not only she, but the rest of her team will learn from here. Now, she hit that first routine, so they're looking for a second attempt as good, if not better here. So remember, she will have that automatic 5/10 deduction. Short on that final handstand. And the dismount double front finds the landing with a step, but a solid effort.
And Lori, how does that affect you physically having to do the routine twice?
Physically, it may affect you a little bit, but keep in mind these athletes do 2 or 3 routines a day in practice. And mentally, maybe it was a little bit of a boost here. Hey, she's already done it once. She hit her routine. Now she just has to do the same thing. Although she had that same step back in her first routine, something she'll work on.
After the deductions, 9.175 for Colleen Williams. And here's a look at this Auburn vault lineup. A little pressure for the Auburn Tigers here.
They have to dig themselves out of a hole after that rough score on bars, and as you can see, this lineup is dominated by upperclassmen. That's a great thing, including this senior, Taylor Geese, who's coming back after tearing her ACL last year. So the knee brace. Volta Yurchenko layout full, good job. She is from Kentucky, and she's making her debut comeback appearance here in Kentucky. Great opportunity for her. Performing the Yurchenko layout full. They scored out of 10 points. It's a pretty ambitious vault for someone coming back from such a difficult injury.
And not a bad score for coming back off that injury, 9.625, and we go back to Emily Reimer. So your top score on this event, 9.850. But again, she did not practice at all this week.
Giant full, giant half. Comes a release element, a pike jagger, well done. Nice job hitting that final handstand. The judges want to see them hitting that vertical position, and the dismount comes off early, under rotates, 5/10 deduction. Bars has not been a good event for both of these teams tonight. You can see it's still early in the season. Kinks are still being worked out. Endurance is still not fully there, and that could have been the issue here. She comes off a little bit early on the dismount, not quite enough rotation, but quick thinking on that landing to roll out and avoid an injury.
Emily Weimer finishes with a score of 9.250 on the bars. And Kentucky opening up the door for Auburn, and a comeback as rotation 2 continues. Mo Mitchell's team continues on the bar as we move back to the vault here inside Memorial Coliseum, and arguably Auburn's best vaulter, Lindsey Puckett, up here. She won the vault title in the Northeast Regional her freshman year, and very good last year as well.
This is one of her best events. She's a high scoring potential. Doing your Chenko layout full, fantastic job. You know, you mentioned earlier Lindsey's sister Courtney, who was a superstar at Auburn. Courtney was a little showier in terms of presentation, but I'd say Lindsey is more powerful, and that helps her on vault for sure. She rockets this vault up very nice and high. Great job of keeping her legs glued together through the twisting element of it, and the landing was solid.
And Auburn with some good scores here on the vault, a 9.825 for Lindsey Puckett. Back to the sophomore Emily Green last year, a 9.7 as a freshman.
She's coming off a great vault score of a 9.9, which is always a confidence booster. Rise, half turn into a release element, a Jaeger. Athletes are required to do at least 2 release elements. Jaeger was one of them. The straddle back is the second one. Is very much the same as we've seen from many athletes tonight. The double layout, a little bit of a leg separation in the air. This was an aggressive routine and a hit which Kentucky needed right now. See the aggressive speed that she's getting into this dismount. That helps create the rotation, something that is needed when you're doing 2 rotations in this body position.
A good score for Emily Green, 9.675, but much like Auburn, Kentucky struggles on the bars. The same identical score, 47.375.
Several mistakes tonight definitely hurt. Fortunately, they are mistakes that can be fixed, especially that miscommunication.
Meanwhile, Auburn coach Jeff Thompson getting set to watch Julie Dwyer on the vault at career high 9.925 against LSU a year ago.
That high, she will have to nail this landing. It's a difficult vault. Chenko half front layout, step back on the landing. Again, we are seeing a vault that's a blind landing because of the half turn versus the full turn. But Julie does a great job at her technique. Take a look at the block and rise off the table. She initiates that rise before the twist. That gives her a good direction and a good height. She will find this landing.
And a vault score of 9.725 for Julie Dwyer, and Auburn 48.375 team-wise on the vault.
Mentally, they stayed strong here, and that's important, especially after the falls on bars.
We have completed 2 rotations here at Memorial Coliseum, and the Kentucky lead has been cut in 2 by the Auburn Tigers. Auburn will be on the floor, and Kentucky on the beam when we come back. 2 rotations in the book. 2 still to go here in our SEC Gymnastics meet between Kentucky and Auburn, and warming up on the floor, Julie Dwyer, who will go last.
You know, coaches usually try to stack the lineup with the best athlete at the end in order to boost their score. Julie will anchor this lineup with an upgraded routine that she debuted at last year's SECs. It should be a good one because Auburn is always pretty polished and showy on this event.
And we'll start things off for the Auburn Tigers on the floor with Claire Seifert, and she's a vault and floor specialist, 7-time Kentucky state champion in a number of events, including the floor. Getting set to make her first of 3 passes.
Big pass, round back handspring, double pike, solid landing.
Claire is a junior who walked on but earned herself a full scholarship this year. That's quite a wonderful reward for any athlete. A reward for her hard work and dedication to this Tiger program. Front tumbling pass, front full to a front layout in combination. The athletes are required to do at least 3 different saltos in a routine.
In 2005, she won the 4 vault beam bars in all around in the state of Kentucky. So how about that?
Certainly an expert on this event. Power and strength are important on floor, but so is showmanship and good choreography and attention to detail.
Getting set for her final pass.
Dismounts with what we call a Rudy. It's a front layout with a 1.5 twist. Solid start for the Tigers.
Claire Seifert, the junior from Louisville, Kentucky, on the floor. Let's take another look at this last pass.
Many gymnastic skills are named after its inventor, and this final skill is called a Rudy. It's a front layout with a 1.5 twist, and it's named after Dave Rudolph, who was a trampolinist in the late 1920s.
A good start for Auburn, a floor score of 9.7. Well, Mitchell's squad looks on as they're trying to win their first SEC dual meet in 2 years, and they're up on the beam next.
Well, Mitchell said that this would be an important event for them. He says it's usually that make or break event. It's certainly an event with high risk and one that nerves can take its toll.
Hillary Ferguson will be first up. You see her career high 9.750. Is a little more pressure right now on the Wildcats after they have that big lead and it's been cut into?
Well, I think anytime you go to balance beam, there is a lot of pressure on these athletes. And, you know, that leadoff position for Hillary is an important one. We talked about the importance of stacking the lineups with your most talented athletes near the end so that you can really start to boost those scores. But on beam especially, this leadoff position is so important. You want a hit that calms the nerves of the rest of your team. Solid tumble series by handspring layout. So just think long and hard on who is the best athlete to fill this position. Do a lot of inter squad activities in the gym, putting their athletes under pressure.
She had the highest Wildcat score on the vault earlier of a 9.775.
Hitting her aerial cartwheel there. 2 straddle jumps in combination with a back tuck, solid. She is showing a great deal of confidence on this event, so important on beam. See here her teammates on the sidelines cheering her on into the dismount, round off 1.5 twist. Nice attention to detail throughout this entire routine, all the way to the landing of the dismount. Here's that connection of 3 elements. 2 straddle jumps into a back tuck. She gets combination bonus. In order to have a start value from a 10, the athletes must get at least 5 tenths in combination bonus or bonus from difficult skills.
And she started things off with a score of 9.7 for the Wildcats on the beam. We move back to the floor, and Lindsey Puckett, who's really been one of the studs for this Auburn Tiger team so far tonight. And prior to the meet, she chatted with us about her goals here in 2008.
Me as an individual, definitely nationals. Would much rather be there with the team, though, than by myself. So I'm going to do everything I can to motivate the girls and help them understand how exciting nationals actually is for being there, and it's incredible.
A team success is the #1 priority for every single one of these gymnasts here, and you talk to those who have been at the top in this sport, they said they trade all of their individual successes in for the same for the team.
Getting ready for her first pass.
Opening with a sky-high double back. A little bit low on difficulty level on that first pass, but she's told me that she is training more difficulty, a double layout. She also says that she trains in the same group as teammate Julie Dwyer, and that Julie has really motivated her to increase her goals and her difficulty and to work on her consistency.
well, some of the elements that they've been working on the last 5 months, we won't quite see this early in the season yet.
Right, this is still so early in the season. You don't want to start putting in those difficult skills until you're ready, because they want to avoid any injuries, especially with this Auburn team who struggled so much with injuries last year. It's also an important aspect of the sport not to peak too early. The season is very long, and if you start doing those high-level skills, not only will your body be worn out by the end of the season, but you'll be worn out mentally as well. A little short on her final pass, a double pike, but an excellent routine for Lindsay. Boy, she's having a great meet today.
She is one of the most consistent performers for the Auburn Tigers thus far.
Let's take a look at that opening pass. She does a front step out, round off back handspring to a sky-high double back. She does it in the tuck position, which makes it a little bit easier than the skill that she's training in the gym. The double layout with a straight body position, an element we'll see from Julie Dwyer later.
But still a great score on the floor, 9.8. When we come back to Lexington, rotation 3 continues. Back in Lexington, we continue with our SEC Gymnastics meet. We're midway through rotation 3 between Auburn and Kentucky, who continues on the beam, and Heather Height, who has battled knee injuries throughout her entire career, but has been very resilient.
My legs are feeling good. It's been a rough, couple of years trying to rehab and all that stuff, but our trainer has worked with me a lot. Our orthopedic surgeon has worked with me a lot, and they understand that I have leg problems, but I've worked through them, and I feel great about this season.
The situation's been going on for several years, but just in the last year, she's had 5 knee surgeries. It's so impressive that she is here not only competing, but in great shape and so confident as well.
Her career high on the beam is a 9.950. Last year, she won 7 events, so she's really an integral part to this Kentucky Wildcat team.
And so strong on this event. 2 back handsprings to a layout, slight wobble. She told me that she has never had a second thought about pushing through these tough times. She's quite a leader on this team. She's the co-captain this year as a junior. Front aerial. Takes a pause into the gainer layout. Now, Coach Mo Mitchell said that one of the biggest differences with this year's team is their stronger leadership, and it starts with the co-captains, Heather Height and Chrissy Cannon.
Well, they're still a fairly young team.
Still very young. And a solid finish for Heather Height with a gainer full dismount. Young can be good in this sport. They often say athletes peak around 15 or 16 years of age. But at the collegiate level, it's nice to have a little bit of experience and know what's going to be coming ahead of you.
Heather Height 9.725, and meanwhile back on the floor, Julie Dwyer getting some last-minute advice from associate head coach Rachel Thompson. Of course, she has lofty goals for her team here in 2008.
Goals this year, as an individual, I just want to help lead the team and just be the consistent rock on the team. But honestly, it's all about the team this year. I want to get to nationals. I want to prove to everyone how good we really are when we're healthy, and just how great of a team we have this year.
You know, she looked a little embarrassed saying she was the rock of this team, but she really has been. I think she's missed about 4 teams in her entire Auburn career so far.
She has scored a 9-9 4 times in her career on this event.
And still, that's not enough. She upgraded her difficulty before the SEC Championships last year with this opening pass. It's a double layout, a little bit short on rotation, but huge difficulty. Of course, we saw her landing on that landing mat. That is allowed in competition, and it helps decrease the impact on the ankles. Lauren Vault really put a lot of pressure and impact on those ankles and knees.
And you can see her right and left foot heavily taped.
Looks like she's dealing with the normal shin splints that a gymnast deals with, as well as possible ankle injury. Or quite often the athletes simply tape their ankles and legs for preventative reasons. combination.
Watching the SEC Freshman of the Year, her freshman campaign, and followed up with the Gymnast of the Year as a sophomore.
Last year, she was Scholar Athlete of the Year in the SEC, finishing with a strong double pike. Nice difficulty to the end. Excellent job for Julie.
And Jeff Thompson enjoying what he saw here as well.
Now Julie is about 5'5" tall. That's a little bit taller than many gymnasts, and that makes this pass even more difficult because you have to get that taller body through 2 rotations in the straight position.
Score of 9.75 for Julie Dwyer, and a finish with a 48.375 on the floor.
And 5 out of 6 hits for Auburn. That's a good start, but I think we'll see these scores come up later in the season.
Back on the beam, Emily Green, a sophomore, career high 9.825 last year as a freshman.
So Kentucky has had 1 fall on this event so far, and they are counting 1 weak score because of wobbles. Remember, they can drop 1 score. Tumbling pass, back handspring layout, back handspring swing down. A unique combination of skills. That's a tumbling sequence that we don't often see in collegiate gymnastics. Switch leap to a gainer layout in combination. Gaining some bonus points there. And of course, leaps and jumps are important on beam. One of the requirements is a dance connection with at least 2 elements that are either leaps, turns, or jumps, and they have to have a large leap of 180-degree split. We saw that in the switch split and in the split jump. So far, a strong routine, just the dismount, a 1.5 twist, tiny hop on the landing. Great routine.
Emily Green continues to be very solid for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Here's a look at that interesting tumble series. 3 elements, back handspring layout, back handspring swing down. It's that final element that makes it a little bit different. Many of the other athletes do a second layout or a back handspring to their feet.
A 9.725 for Emily Green. Remember, she started things off with a 9.9, and overall for the Wildcats, a 48.2 on the beam.
After a fall, they are forced to count that 9.425. Not a particularly strong score for Kentucky, but good news for them. They're heading to their best event floor.
Auburn has chipped into the Wildcat lead, the 4th rotation when we come back to Lexington. We are getting set for the final rotation inside Memorial Coliseum, and the lead has been cut to less than 2/10 for the Kentucky Wildcats, but Auburn, they got to compete on the beam now.
This competition is so close, and the bottom line is Auburn needs at least 5 stunning routines on beam to compete with what Kentucky is capable of scoring on floor. Lindsay, AJ, and Julie are the high scorers. Traditionally, Auburn is a beam team.
But already tonight, Kayla Geese, who was first up on the beam, fell twice, so a lot of pressure here on Chrissy Voss.
She's having a great start so far with a difficult front tuck mount. Solid and confident. This is the crucial tumble series coming up here. Back handspring, layout, and she's off and out of position on the landing. Another fall for Auburn. This is not good.
So the first 2 competitors for the Tigers fall on the beam.
We talked about the importance of having a consistent and solid lead-off routine. You have a fall, first up, or first 2 routines. Now all of a sudden the mentality of the athletes has changed. The next athletes will simply be trying to just stay on the beam instead of performing it, instead of really getting after what they are capable of. Job on her front aerial to a wolf jump. Music in the background, that's simply background music. The athletes don't do their beam routine to music like they would on floor. And the dismount, round up 1.5 twist. Big step out on the landing, yeah. This routine started with a great mount, a front tuck, nice difficulty, And she adds a jump at the end of it, the changement. She looks confident from the start. The trouble came in the tumble series here. Back handspring layout, a little sloppy in the air, not really disciplined on that lunge position on the landing.
And they follow up a 8.250 with a 9.125 for Chrissy Voss. So Auburn in a little bit of trouble on the beam. Meanwhile, Kentucky in their strongest event here on the floor now.
Now, Kentucky has a new volunteer coach, and that's Jill Peck, whose expertise is dance. So we should see a new look from Kentucky in their choreography. Mo Mitchell feels that this will be their strength, and certainly a crowd pleaser.
Well, we'll see how Emily Green finishes up. As you said before, she's been hot tonight.
Not only has she done a great job for her team, but she's in the running for the all-around title tonight. She's had 3 solid events, including that 9.9 on vault.
There's a career high of 9.85 on the floor.
And with a strong double pike. Using an interesting contrasting combination of music, folk music, with little crowd-pleasing hip-hop music.
Your favorite as well, Lori. It's still a lot harder for an athlete like Green to be good at all 4. Of course, you see it a lot in gymnastics, but it's quite a trait for her to do that.
Both collegiately and at the international level, we're seeing more and more athletes specialize on events. So it's nice to see an athlete who is still strong on all 4. Finishing with a combination of 2 elements, a 1.5 to a front layout. Another great routine for Emily Green. Excellent night. And of course, the crowd enjoyed it. They're showing their appreciation. It's Excite Night here. There's a lot of people on hand to watch. That certainly helps the athlete. It helps pump up their adrenaline, and that's important on this event, to have that little extra motivation.
What a night for Emily Green, a floor score of 9.8. And up next on the beam, the only athletes that spent better all-around wise than Green and Lindsay Puckett.
Lindsay not only has the job of getting things back on track for Auburn, but she does have a shot at that all-around title. It's pretty impressive considering she's competing against one of the best athletes in the country, and Julie Dwyer, who's also her teammate. Important series here. Back handspring layout. It is difficult and right on.
And remember, she's got a ton of pressure on her as 2 of her teammates have already fallen off this apparatus.
Absolutely, and who needs more pressure when you're talking about the balance beam? Switch leap, straddle jump. Judges want to see 180-degree split on those leaps and jumps in the split position. And the required full turn. Straddle jump to a back tuck. More difficulty planned in the dismount. You see head coach Jeff Thompson stepping in just in case for safety. It's a double back. One of the most difficult dismounts. These athletes are competing at the collegiate level. What a fantastic night for Lindsay Puckett. Here's her tumble series. Triple flight, back handspring, layout. Good speed and direction down the beam and a solid landing.
And a solid score, 9.775. When we come back, Kentucky trying to win their first SEC dual meet in 2 years, and Heather Height will try to wrap it up on the floor. A crowd of better than 5,000 on hand at Memorial Coliseum. Excite Night, and they've witnessed some great gymnastics, and they're about to witness one of the best on the floor. Heather Height, a career best of 9.95 on the floor. Bernie Gunther, Lori Strong-Ballard with you here. A great start to the 2008 SEC Gymnastics slate.
And Heather Height with a cleanly executed opening pass, a double pike. You see her landing on the landing mat. Help absorb a little bit of that pressure on her knees. Those knees that she's had so many surgeries on. Talked to Coach Mo about the situation. He says one of the most frustrating things is that the doctors don't know exactly what is wrong. It's been sort of hit or miss in terms of surgeries and how to rehab after the surgeries.
But yet she's still been very consistent when she has been able to compete for the Wildcats.
She has tremendous mental toughness as well as a great passion for the sport, and that certainly helps you get through some of these low times. Beautiful double turn with the leg above horizontal into a wolf full. Nice sequence of choreography showing some wonderful lines. We talked about Kentucky working with a new choreographer. You can see it in their dance. It's a little more intricate this year. The judges want to see that. They want to see the showmanship, and there's definitely artistic value to the routine as well.
The final pass.
Nice difficulty on a double back, another solid routine.
A great start to 2008 for Heather Height.
Great passion. You can see her getting excited not only for her routine but for her teammates as well. This last pass was excellent, showing good difficulty with what the judges call up to the level of competition. They want to see at least a D level last pass or a C in combination. That met the requirement with a D level last pass.
Look at that score there, 9.85 for Heather Height. And now Julie Dwyer on the beam for Auburn, who's really struggled with this event tonight.
It may be too little, too late for the Tigers. If someone should know best, that would be senior Julie Dwyer, that it's not over till it's over. Handspring, layout, the same triple flight that we saw Lindsay Puckett do earlier. Nice, strong difficulty.
She was a second-team All-American on this event last year. She tied for 5th at the NCAA championships with a 9.825.
Been the go-to girl for the last 3 years on this Auburn team, and she's been the face of Tiger Gymnastics. Talked about her dealing with the pressure of that responsibility. She said preparation, the time that she puts into preparing herself in the gym is so important and helps her handle that pressure in competition. Dismount, round off, double twist. Of course, you can hear the screams from her teammates on the sideline behind her and the team all the way through this competition, even through their ups and downs. Take a look at that dismount again. It's a C-level dismount, a little bit of a leg cross in the air. There will be a small deduction there.
So Julie Dwyer finishes up her night with a 9.75 on the beam, and Auburn really not getting it done, though, overall at 47.825.
Certainly not a typical score for Auburn on the beam. That combined with a rough go on the bars, this has been a tough season opener for the Tigers. These are mistakes that they can fix.
It'll be Kristen O'Shields, the senior for the Kentucky Wildcats, to finish things up for us on the floor.
What a great opportunity for a senior to finish up this competition in what could be the first win in 2 years for the Kentucky Wildcats. She's performing in front of a huge audience in her senior year. She's got great showmanship behind her and good experience being a senior. To a Rudy, that front 1.5. Certainly some fun music, allows the crowd to get into it.
Well, and of course, the good news is the meet basically wrapped up, so she can just go out and cut loose, so to speak.
Certainly enjoying herself in this final routine, final tumbling pass coming up. Front layout, front full. Big smile, and a big win and a big finish for the Kentucky Wildcats tonight.
Well, they said the road to the NCAA championship started tonight, and this is a good routine for Krista.
Coach Mo Mitchell said that leadership was so much stronger this year, and you saw that come out after their performance on bars, where they had a couple falls and that miscue. They came back strong in the other 3 events. Kristen O'Shields finishes with a 9.85, and for the first time tonight, we see a team score on an apparatus of a 49. And for the first time in 2 years, the Kentucky Wildcats have won an SEC dual meet as they finish with 193.45 points. Lori Strong-Ballards with Mo Mitchell.
Congratulations, Coach. You said this was a team with a whole new look and that you were looking for a fresh start. Was this the start that you were looking for?
It wasn't quite the start because we wanted to rock bars, but you know what? To come out with a win over an SEC school, that is huge. And to have it televised so our fans can see what we're doing, and the way that our team finished on floor was just incredible, and that's what we've been training for.
You also said that the leadership on this team was so much stronger this year. Is that what helped you come back after the misses on bars?
Oh, absolutely, because when those girls started getting down after bars, I saw Chrissy Cannon go over there and say, come on, guys, this isn't over. Let's go get them, let's go get them, let's go get them. And that's usually the role that UCC coaches taking. And when you have an athlete talking to her peers that way, that's incredible, that's huge, and that really helped us a lot.
Well, you certainly saw some positive signs here tonight, and good luck with the rest of your season. Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Our all-around winner tonight is Lindsey Puckett. She finishes with a score of 39.125, and she was very consistent all night long, and Lori Strong-Ballard is with Lindsey.
All right, Lindsey, maybe not quite the result you'd hoped for in the team competition, but a great all-around effort for you to win the all-around title tonight in the first competition of the season. What do you think of your individual performance?
Individually, I felt great. The equipment was awesome. The atmosphere was crazy, and so I just kind of tried to stay focused. And as for the team, you know, we can only go up from here, and so I think it's just getting back in the gym and working out the kinks that we had, and still trying to stay positive. And I think that's what a good job that we did tonight is that we did stay positive and that we kept our spirits up and kept fighting and fought for every tenth that we had. So
we'll keep up the fight, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A great start to the 2008 SEC Gymnastics slate. Kentucky wins their first dual meet in 2 years for Lori Strong-Ballard. I'm Bernie Gunther saying good night from Lexington. We'll see you in Tuscaloosa next.